Hello everyone. I've missed you guys. If you are on the replay, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. I was out yesterday. I had every intention of jumping on a scope with you guys, and I was just, I was busy, first of all, but second of all, I did not feel well at all yesterday. So I'm doing much better today. And I'm excited to be back on with you guys because good morning, hello. I have some exciting news and I want to share 5 quick tips with you for building followers and networking, gaining business. Ultimately, that's good morning. That's what we're wanting as business owners, right? Thank you so much. To make sure that we are expanding our tribe of people, reaching new people with our passions and our business and our industry. Strength in numbers, exactly it. Is anybody new that has not been on one of my scopes before? I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up if you're new. Let me know where you're from. I would love to give a shout out to you and welcome you to the community. Can you hear my voice? Gosh, I don't have time for this, people, and it's not even October. I gotta get this figured out. We're gonna get this figured out. All right, so I'm gonna give you some good news, and then I'm gonna go into my tips for the day. The good news is I have the Scope Challenge up on the website. So, and I'm calling it Scope. Oh, your first live scope. Welcome, Diane. Thank you so much for joining on. Scoperation. I think that's what I had down. Scopespiration. That's what I have. So I don't, because I literally just finished it this morning, so I don't have any fancy graphics to hold up or anything. I'll get those today. But if you go to my website, katherinekeller.net, it's in my bio on Periscope. You could just click on it right there. In the menu bar, you'll see Periscope, and there is Periscope Challenge. So basically what that is it gives you an idea, a topic idea for the every day in October. And what I want you to do is take that Scopespiration, that's it, take that challenge of the day. There's no rules if you don't want to do every day. If you want to do one day out of the 31 days, if you want to do all 31 days, it's just there to help you think outside of the box. So the example I gave is day 10 is balance. For me, if I saw the word balance, I would immediately think work-life balance, kids work balance. But a yoga teacher would think something different to scope about in regards to balance. So think outside of the box. It's just to get your brain flowing, juices flowing, but katherinekeller.net, and then just click on Periscope in the menu bar and you'll be able to find it there. Okay. But one of the things that I want to go over, because there's some big mistakes that I've seen made over and over and over with other scopers. You know, I've talked a lot about how to actually do a scope, but I want to talk about also how to gain your followers and your networking from being on other people's scopes. You know, we go on to scopes for content, but I think secondary, we go on to scopes to network. I have met so many new people through Periscope that I've got a lot of followers on Twitter. I've got a decent following on Instagram, but it's through Periscope that I've been introduced to these people. So we're networking and then also creating business. So in my mind, there's 3 aspects that I want to accomplish when I'm on Periscope. But when I'm on a scope, I've told you guys that the best way I get followers is to be on other people's scopes. I've given, in our trainings, I've gone over several tips. I think there were 5 different ways that I've really focused on gaining followers on Periscope. But yes, being involved, exactly. So that's what I want to go over today. It's not just a matter of being on other people's scopes. You've got to be active in the scope. And I want to give you 5 quick tips on how to get more followers, networking, more business by being on other people's scopes. Now, the first thing is when you join a scope, and for a lot of you, I've noticed a lot of familiar names, so you've been on my scopes before, but I think it's very important to always give your name, because our handles are sometimes not our name. So give your actual name and where you're from. No matter if you've been on that Scoper's Scope 1,000 times or whether it's your first time, because the new people that may be coming on that scope don't know you. Even though I know who you are, other people on this scope may not know who you are. Always introduce yourself. Say, hello, Katherine from Missouri, and then move on. So other people can kind of, it's an introduction, not just to the scoper. Thank you. Perfect, Michelle. Thank you. So it's not just for the scoper, but it's for the other people that are in the room as well. So they get to know a little bit about you. So that's the first tip. Second thing, add content to the broadcast. I cannot emphasize this enough. For those of you who like to, and sometimes I just sit and listen. Sometimes I've got other things going on. Are my bracelets way obnoxiously loud with that microphone? I'm going to take those off. Sometimes I just need to listen in as if it's a podcast. I've got other things going on. But other times I'm going to actively converse, have conversation, ask questions. Another one is repeat the highlighted topics in text. Type it out. For instance, I already went over the number one tip is to let people know your first name and where you're from. So if I were on somebody else's scope and they would do that, they would say that, then I would type out tip 1, right name, and where you're from. Just to kind of reiterate, know that we're following along. For those people who are more visual people, they've got now something, or somebody who's joined a little bit later can join, or you can take a screenshot. So I'm always trying to make sure I reiterate the highlights. If there's a quote that's shared, hello, Jody, nice to, thank you for joining. I don't know where I was going with that. Stick with me. Anyway, so I like to reiterate the highlights. I tell you, not only is it good for me, but I think it's good for thank you so much. It's good for the whole community. So take notes, basically. That's it. Perfect. That's a perfect example. Where you're from and introduce yourself. Step 2, add content to the broadcast. Ask questions. Repeat what was said in the text. Be positive and block trolls. I'm very lucky in this community, knock on wood. I don't have a lot of trolling going on, but block them out if you're on somebody else's scope. Be positive, encourage others, reply directly to comments. We've gone over how to do that before, but let's real quick. If somebody puts a comment up, you can tap on that comment and reply directly to them. That is going to, yes, thank you. That's going to continue the conversation with each other. So now you've got a conversation going on. Everybody can see it still, but you're promoting the conversation. You're moving the conversation forward. 3, share if it's good. Make sure that you think not only of your followers and you're wanting to help them, but also for helping the scoper. You know, that's just, I believe that what we give, we receive. So for me, if it's something of value that I think that my scopers would appreciate, I always share it. Another new feature I went over last weekend is you can take screenshots and share that as well. So if I'm holding up some notes, if I've got a graphic to show you, take the screenshot and you can tweet that out as well. So make sure you share. And then give hearts. Make sure that you're giving hearts to the scoper. And the thing about hearts is, ultimately, is it going to get you more business directly? No. Indirectly, yes. Because when somebody lands on a person's scope profile, if they've got 4 hearts or 10 hearts or 400 hearts, psychologically, it means a little bit less than if a person has 1,000,000 hearts, right? We tend to think of a person with 1,000,000 hearts as more of an authority figure. Now, that's not always the case, and we know that. We talked about how there were, hang on just a second, how there were people that could buy hearts. I've talked about this in previous scopes. You can go through and you can buy hearts. And I could do an hour-long spiel about not doing that. But anyway, give hearts. If you feel that this scoper is somebody who brings value to you and to the community, then make sure you're giving hearts so that other people can look at that and see, all right, this is a person I may want to tune into. And end with a thank you. That's just my personal opinion, but I always end with a thank you because A, it's noted by the scoper, the person who's actually giving the scope notices, oh no, Jody, let me come back to that. But it's noticed by the scoper and it's also noticed by everybody else. I think you have a presence when you enter a scope. And you are setting an example. You're setting a first impression of who you are, the positivity that you bring, the graciousness that you bring. And so for me, when I'm on other people's scopes, that's how I'm networking. That's how I want to present myself. And when they see my name continually popping up, adding to the conversation, taking notes for them, congratulating other people, talking with other people, that is the impression of who I am that I want to portray to the rest of the room. So, to recap real quick before I move on to questions. Number one, when you join, make sure you give your first name and where you're from. And again, that's not necessarily for the scoper's benefit, the person scoping, although it is, but it's also for the benefit of everybody else in the room. Number two, add content to the scope. Ask questions, take notes, type them out for people, be positive, reply to comments, give thumbs up, high fives if there's been a great comment and you want to reply directly. Number three, share if it's good. Share it on Twitter. It pops up, you guys, every time you share something. I know who's sharing. And so, make sure if it's good, you're sharing it with your followers and the rest of the community. You can share it on Facebook, Twitter, with your other scope followers, and then you can also now take screenshots and tweet those out as well. Give hearts if this is a scope that you feel is worth your time, energy, and efforts. If you appreciate the scoper, make sure you give hearts. And last, end with a thank you. Thank the scoper, or if there's a conversation that you've been having with somebody else along that whole time, make sure to thank them as well. So those are my quick tips. Jody, you asked Bertrand. Hello, Bertrand. Bertrand has been on my scopes before, but for those of you, see, this is why we do this, because some of you are new and have never met Bertrand before from Texas. So, Jody, you asked about crying on a scope. I think that is amazing. Do it. Yes. Do I know the age demographic on Periscope? Let me come back to that. The quick answer is no. The Periscope is too new, really, to get any sort of good statistics on demographics yet. I'm sure it was embarrassing. And you know what? Full transparency, I would be mortified as well if I started crying. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm going to cry on a scope. It's inevitable. But the thing is, if I'm watching somebody else, I'm an ugly crier too. Maybe that's another Periscope tip, is to wear waterproof mascara. But crying is real. Exactly, Hurley. That is exactly what I was going to say. If I'm watching, I have actually watched other people, a woman I absolutely love and adore, just a strong businesswoman, she's a multi six-figure income, and just broke down on a scope. And it was awesome for everybody else, not for her. But it was amazing to get to see the other side of that woman that I never get to see, because she's so strong. And it makes me think, I'm okay. I'm normal. The fact that I break down and cry every once in a while makes me a human being. Good. I'm telling you, you may feel terrible and awful, but everybody else, if you were being genuine, authentic, they're going to see that. They're going to see that, and that they're going to connect with you on a deeper level because of that. So yeah, don't be afraid to just whatever it is you need to do, whatever emotion you have. Oh, and the other question was about the demographics on Periscope, but I already answered that. It's guys, it's still picking up. It just launched less than 6 months ago. I think it's been 6 months now. So it's still fairly new. We don't have a lot of statistics on. What I can tell you is that only about 1% of the people on Periscope are actually doing scopes. I can tell you that there's over 15 million people, which has been impressive, because when I started about 5 or 6 weeks ago, there was just a little over 10. So they're gaining about 1 million users a week would be the average right now. So I can give you those statistics, but as far as age demographics, I'm going to go with my gut. This is based on absolutely nothing. Yes, that's what I was getting ready to say, Diane. My gut says that it's more of the younger aged audience. And the only reason I put my bracelets back on. I didn't even realize I did that. Did you? When did I do that? I'll take those off. That's annoying. The only reason, what I'm basing that off of, is we know the Twitter demographic is a lot younger than LinkedIn, and then also a lot younger than Facebook. Yeah, so because Twitter owns Periscope, and they're interconnected, then my guess would be that right now it's a younger audience for the scopes. By younger, I mean, I would say it would be 50 and under would be the larger majority. That's where the trolls are too, the younger demographics, that's true. But on that same token, I have, older people that are actually in my class that I teach on Periscope. I'm not going to say they're old. They're not old, but they're not in their 20s. So I think it's fun for all ages, but I would say the majority of them are in the younger crowd. Any other questions you guys have? I hope that was helpful to you, because I want to tell you, I've said this 1,000 times, being on other people's scopes is the fastest way to grow following. 44. Thank you, Anessa. I appreciate that. Young viewers, older scopers, that's probably true. Be careful, I'm one of the older ones. Well, no, I think that is awesome, because you're on the cusp, I think that the older generation, and in particular, let me talk to the home-based business owners, the direct sellers, the network marketers. They have a reputation for being extremely slow when it comes to accepting new forms of marketing and media. They have that reputation for being way behind when it comes to new programs and processes. So I know that I have a lot of direct sellers. I have a lot of home-based business owners. I have network marketers on here. And the fact that you guys are taking that step to learn and educate yourself and take a brave, bold step ahead of the curve says a lot about you. It really does. Now, I'm going to take that compliment back for just a second. If you're just watching and you're not actually taking that brave, bold step to do it, then you're still holding back. Belly to belly, face to face, most difficult. I'm lucky to be tech savvy. Yes. So take that bold step, because you're actually only ahead of the curve, I think, if you start doing it. Just sitting and watching is really easy. The older you are, the younger the number gets. That's right. So, yeah, for direct sellers, I think this is the next way. This is the way to introduce your products. It's the way to build authenticity with your customers. It's the way to start leading your team, teaching your team. So I think you're ahead of the curve. It's a good first step. Any other questions you guys have for me today? I am hoping to still do my watch is on upside down. That's the kind of day that I'm having. I love it here. I've made so many new friends in just a few weeks. Oh, Jody, thank you. I appreciate that. I really am proud of the community that we're building, and I'm excited. Oh, let me go over this for the people who weren't on at the beginning. I have already the October Scopeспirations. So every day of the month, you are going to receive a word or a few words to give you an idea of a starting point for a scope that day. So just go to katherinekeller.net. You can click on it in the bio of my Periscope. I don't know if you guys knew this, but that was an update that came out. Thank you. Thank you, Bertrand. That was an update that came out now with the latest Periscope app. You could put your full URL in your bio, and it's now clickable. You can't click on your own. So if you've gone, thank you, Jody. So if you've gone to your own bio and you've got your URL, you can't click it. But if you go to somebody else's, like mine, and you'll see my URL in there, you should be able to click it. It takes you right to my website. Click on Periscope in the menu bar, and that'll get you to the challenge. There are no rules with the challenge. It's just to help inspire you, give you some ideas. Make sure to use the hashtag Scopespiration so that I can find you guys and check out your scopes. And then I think it's good because that's how I got to this point. We have such a great community, and I think that the community is good at supporting one another. So if you've never done a scope before, then it's a good place to start as well, to give you some ideas and have a community that will support and love you, and hearts and comments and all of that. So make sure to use the hashtag. Will we get automatic emails if we're already signed up for your emails? I'm not sending out an email every month or every day to remind you of what it is that day. If you sign up for it, you're going to get one PDF. It's got every day of the month immediately to download. But what I will do is, after you've signed up for the Scopespiration one time, then you'll automatically, like next month, you'll automatically get November sent to your inbox. So get on that list if you want to. I just think sometimes it's the craziest thing, because we've got so, scopes are about personal. It is on the website now, Inessa. Yes, you just go to katherinekeller.net, click on Periscope in the menu bar, and you'll see a drop down. It says Periscope Challenge. On the website, katherinekeller.net. Can somebody put that up again? Jody, I think you did just a second ago. katherinekeller.net. It's in my bio. And in the menu bar, there's Periscope. And you'll see Periscope Challenge, and just sign up through there. You'll be automatically, thank you guys, you'll be automatically redirected to download the PDF so that you could be a part of the Scopespiration. I'm going to have to get used to saying that. I over enunciate it because I'm worried I'm going to screw that up. But, Periscope's about being authentic. It's about being real. It's about sharing who you are and what you do and your passions. And yet I keep running into people over and over. I don't know what to talk about. And I don't have my sheet with me, but one of the examples I gave, I think I did, I said this earlier, balance was one of them. Challenges is another word of the day, so that you can think of what challenges you have. Dreams is another one on there. I'm trying to think. I did a couple of fall related ones, like pumpkin. So if you're a pumpkin farmer, then by all means just talk about pumpkins. But I want you guys to think outside the box. Is there a story that you can share about your childhood, something that we can get to know you better with? If you're in the health industry, can you talk about pumpkin seeds and how those are the health benefits of pumpkin seeds? So there's, I want you to interpret it and relate it to you and your business. I want you to think outside the box. And that's why I'm excited to use this hashtag, so I could check out without shoving products at people. Let's get to know you. Let's get to know your business. Let's get to know what you're passionate about. And I want to check it out because Anessa may have one scope topic on the pumpkin day, but you know, if 100 other people may have 100 different other concepts or ideas, or how are they going to incorporate pumpkin into that day. So again, there's no rules. Don't have to do it every single day. I'm not sure I will do it every single day because I try to have somewhat of a life. I have 2 kids and I have a business to run. But I think that when you're looking for some inspiration, I think that's a good place to go to get some ideas. And so you'll get a monthly one. Once you sign up, you don't have to sign up again. You'll just get a monthly one after that. Do I record my scopes? I do. Not all of them, but I do record them. I save them on my camera roll as one. It's not, I don't use that as frequently though, as I record it straight off of Periscope TV on my computer. Oh, that's awesome, Anessa. As far as time of day, I will tell you, my nose is, I'm out. I was out yesterday. You guys know I didn't scope yesterday. I'm having a early fall thing going on. Your scopes, better time of day depends upon your following. And I know that's not a great official answer. I work with a lot of people who work from home. So during the day is fine for me. But for some of you who your followers work all day long, the evening may be better. I will tell you that I'm considering switching our noon. Usually every day at noon, I do a motivational, noon my time, Central Time, I do a motivational thing, and I'm considering moving it because I'm finding that I'm getting better engagement at like closer to this time of day, a little bit earlier. I also know that the evening scopes that I've done around 7:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. my time have done very well as well. I think people have put their kids to bed, they're kind of settled in, and they're ready to sit down for a scope. So I think the best way is just to play with it. See how many people you can get on during certain times of day, but it really just depends on your following. My following is going to be different times that they're available than maybe what your following is going to be. Does that make sense? You guys have any other questions? I think we've gone over it. Let me just rehash my 5 quick tips for those of you who have jumped on. Number 1, when you join, let the scoper know what your name is and where you're from. Even if you've been on the scope 100 times, let the rest of the room know what your name is and where you're from. Number 2, add content. Converse with each other, ask questions, repeat what was said in the text so that people can get the highlights and the quotes. They can see it on the text. Be positive and block trolls. Number 3, share if it's good. It shows up for me whenever you guys are sharing. I know who's sharing. Share on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and now you can take screenshots and tweet those out as well. Number 4, give hearts if the scoper's content is something of value to you. And you too, Hurley, thank you. And end with a thank you, just like Hurley did. Off to the office, have a great day. And she's saying goodbye to the room. So those are the quick tips. Oh, good. Please do. Oh, you're welcome, Bertrand. How do you share to others social media? Are you talking about you're sharing my scope or you're sharing your scope? If you're sharing my scope, you're going to swipe up if you're on an iPhone, swipe right if you're on an Android, and it gives you a bunch of different share options. If I go back to, you're welcome, Johnson Realty, what is your first name? Okay, your own. What I do is, first of all, when you start your scope, make sure that your little Twitter, Cindy, thank you, Cindy, your little Twitter button is filled in white because when you start the scope, it'll automatically tweet it out for you. Number 2, after I'm done with this scope, I will go back to my replay inside of my phone. Oh, did I say that wrong? My bad. Thank you, Diane. That's why I have you guys around. Just making sure you're listening. So when I'm done, I'll go back into my phone. I'll go back to the replay, up on an Android, right on a phone. Okay. So when when I'm done, I will go back into my replay and then you can share it from there. Just like you guys can share my scopes right now, I can go back into the replay and share it as well. You also have a website for your scopes. So it's periscope.tv/ whatever your user handle is. Mine is Chumkubo. So mine is periscope.tv/ Chumkubo. So you can direct people directly to that URL as well, and they can see your recent scopes. You're welcome, Bertrand. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Any other questions real quick, you guys? Because I have to actually get work done today. I would love to just sit on here all day long. But, you know, that's not happening. I have kids that need to be fed. Where did I get my username? That's a great question, Jody. Because it's kind of a gross story. Chum is, for those of you who fish, chum is what you throw into the water to kind of attract fish into your area, and then you can go fishing. So Chumkubo actually is chum, and kubo is bucket in Spanish. It's like a chum bucket. And basically that's what marketing is. That's what Periscope is, right? We're going to kind of keep people swimming around in our area, let them know who we are, let them know, share content, share value until we're ready to fish them out of the water with a sail. So that's where that came from. It's a good question. I haven't been asked that in a long time. So very good. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. It is always a huge honor that you guys spend part of your day with me, listening to me ramble. And I will be back on, should be in a few hours, with our motivation for the day. Thank you, Cindy. Have a great day, all of you. Talk to you soon.